Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, if you joined us for our last deep dive, we unpacked the Partner Program Guide, focusing a lot on the business case for joining forces. But let's be totally honest here. A brilliant strategy is absolutely nothing without flawless execution. So today, we're picking up exactly where we left off. We're transitioning from high-level planning right down into the trenches for a detailed, step-by-step deployment masterclass. We're going to map out exactly how you can conquer SaaS sprawl, eliminate those critical security blind spots, and achieve what feels like the holy grail of IT, 100% employee adoption. Whether you're deploying this internally or rolling it out across a client's environment as a managed service provider, this is your definitive complete guide. Okay, let's run through our agenda. We've got the post-partnership playbook, identity integration, taming SaaS sprawl, gamifying adoption, the family's benefit, and finally, mapping compliance. Think of this as your chronological deployment playbook. It takes you sequentially from that foundational back-end technical setup all the way up to securing executive-level compliance. So, Section 1, the post-partnership playbook. As an IT admin or MSP, you've made the smart move to partner up. But the reality is, right after you sign that contract, you're immediately facing two very real, very stubborn enemies on the ground: shadow IT and employee apathy. To defeat these enemies, we're embarking on an overarching 4-step hero's journey. Step 1, locking down the technical foundation with your identity provider. Step 2, neutralizing active threats, specifically SaaS sprawl. Step 3 is the human element, actually winning over your workforce to drive adoption. And Step 4, claiming the prize by proving rock-solid compliance to your board. You can't skip any of these, right? Doing so just leaves a fatal gap in your armor. So we're starting right at the base. Which brings us to Section 2, identity integration. In layman's terms, this is basically cutting one single, highly secure master key for your entire digital office building. Now you might be wondering, isn't our current setup enough? Well, traditional security setups often fall incredibly short these days. Relying purely on multi-factor authentication and single sign-on, it just isn't enough anymore. Look, SSO is fantastic for your major company-approved applications for sure, but it leaves a massive, glaring vulnerability for non-federated apps. We're talking about the hundreds of random browser-based tools, niche software, and portals your teams use every single day that aren't officially hooked into the SSO. Combining LastPass with your identity provider closes those critical security gaps, blanketing your entire environment with comprehensive wall-to-wall security. The real magic happens when you integrate with industry heavy hitters. I'm talking Microsoft Entra, Google Workspace, Okta, Active Directory. By connecting directly to your corporate directory, you unlock seamless, automated user provisioning. Imagine this: a new hire joins and, boom, they're automatically granted the exact access they need on day one. No IT tech manually configuring 20 different logins. And even more importantly, think about offboarding. Usually that's a panicked, high-stress race to lock a departing employee out, right? With this integration, you hit the kill switch in your directory exactly once, and their access to every single corporate password is gone instantly. No lingering access, no mess. Section 3, taming SaaS sprawl. With the backend fully connected and automated, it's time to neutralize the invisible threats lurking inside your network. Let's clearly define our main villain here: SaaS sprawl, or as you probably know it, shadow IT. This happens when well-meaning employees just want to get their work done quickly, so they go rogue. Think about the employee who casually uses an unvetted free PDF converter online, or signs up for a brand new AI writing assistant using their corporate email. They do this completely without IT approval. It's uncontrolled growth. And the harsh reality is, you simply cannot protect company data if you don't even know where it lives.
But look at how this is solved in the real world. Take Northland Communications. They utilize specific features like SaaS Monitoring and SaaS Protect. They didn't just secure their known corporate credentials, they actually used the platform to shine a massive spotlight on all those hidden AI tools and unauthorized apps their employees were using quietly in the background. Because the password manager naturally sits in the web browser, it monitors logins to these rogue sites. Northland regained total network visibility, and they did it without using heavy-handed tactics that block employees from innovating. They basically just took the blindfold off their IT department.
All right, Section 4, gamifying 100% adoption. Because let's be totally honest, the most robust, expensive security tool on the planet is completely useless if nobody actually uses it. 100%. I know, achieving 100% employee adoption might sound like an impossible pipe dream to any IT professional listening right now. But organizations like Jatasa, a rapidly growing global financial services firm dealing with highly sensitive data, they proved it's an absolute reality. They hit full company-wide adoption by completely removing user friction. Instead of making security a clunky extra step, they streamlined the login experience. No constant context switching, no roadblocks. And it's not just them. Tesla, a massive global data analytics consulting firm, reached this near 100% milestone in just 2 short months. They didn't just throw the software over the fence and hope for the best, you know? They leveraged a highly structured step-by-step onboarding process using the early life program. They drip-fed tutorials, sent targeted check-ins, and actively guided employees from day one. It's all about holding the user's hand during those crucial first few weeks so it naturally becomes a habit. Then there's Corsten, a global retail brand that perfectly highlights the power of psychology and IT. They drove company-wide security through gamified engagement. Seriously, instead of sending boring compliance emails that nobody reads, they turned cybersecurity into an interactive, frictionless, and almost fun experience. They used security scores, leaderboards, celebrating teams with excellent password hygiene. By combining gamification with internal awareness campaigns, removing login friction, and using customizable admin policies behind the scenes, they literally made doing the secure thing the easiest possible option for everyone. Moving on to Section 5, the family's benefit. Let's see how this builds into an incredible employee perk that absolutely cements user loyalty. Here's the deal. If you really want employees to care about password security, you have to make it deeply personal to them. Offering families as a benefit gives every single employee a personal premium account to protect their loved ones at home, completely separate from their corporate vault. Think about the sheer stress of managing hundreds of streaming, banking, and medical portal logins for a whole household. When an employee learns how to easily manage their personal life using this perk, they naturally bring those newly formed excellent security habits right back into the office. And what's the ultimate result of all this user-friendly adoption? Well, think about the sheer nightmare of manually resetting a week's worth of forgotten passwords. You know, those repetitive IT help desk tickets that make you want to pull your hair out. In the time it takes an IT admin to handle those resets, you could save 10 extra hours. Literally 10 hours reclaimed every single week for high-level strategic IT work simply because employees are empowered and actively want to use the tool. Finally, we've reached Section 6, Mapping Security Compliance. This is step 4 of our deployment journey, kind of the final boss battle, where you claim the ultimate prize for your executive team. When it comes time for an audit, words just aren't enough. You need rock-solid proof. These features translate directly into the world's major cybersecurity frameworks, taking a huge amount of heavy lifting off your shoulders. Going for NIST 2.0, you can clearly prove governance and protection through customizable administrative policies. Dealing with a super stringent ASD Essential 8, you can demonstrate cyber resilience through strict credential management. And if you're navigating the massive complexities of ISO 27001, you ensure absolute audit readiness using the Trust Center to generate immediate reports. By mapping your deployment directly to these frameworks, you definitively prove to auditors and cyber insurance providers that your environment is entirely airtight. So, armed with this detailed explainer, your deployment playbook is fully mapped out and ready to execute. From back-end identity integration to neutralizing shadow IT, driving gamified adoption, and enforcing strict compliance, you've got the complete blueprint. Which leaves us with one final critical question for the future of your organization's security. Are you ready to turn your workforce's access habits from your biggest vulnerability into your absolute strongest defense? Start thinking about how you'll take these steps in your own network this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.